Good morning, everybody. Welcome here. Yes, I will also welcome the NSA. And I have some questions for you. Who of you finds this hall, the Concertgebouw Amsterdam, one of the world's greatest concert halls, just absolutely stunning and beautiful? Just raise your hand if you do. Yeah. Now, who of you comes here regularly to hear classical music concerts? A few, not so many. Who of you regularly listens to classical music? A bit more. Excellent. Last question. Who of you is generally open to classical music, doesn't listen to so many concerts, doesn't listen to so much music, but is actually curious to learn more? Just raise your hands. All right. Many of you. That's perfect, because then this talk is for you. Let me start by taking you on a little journey. Imagine, it's late at night and you're driving in your car. The destination is a town that you don't know and that you've never been to. You come to a deserted industrial area on the outskirts of that town. You're tired and cold, and you have no idea how to get to the place in town where they're waiting for you, maybe with a hot chocolate or a glass of red wine. You yearn for orientation. Many people these days feel a bit lost in the world of classical music. For some reason or another, it just doesn't appeal to them so much. Orchestras, record labels, and concert halls, even spectacular ones like this one, have to deal with declining and aging audiences. The average age of people attending symphonies and recitals is probably between 65 and 70 years old in the Western world. There's many reasons for this. For instance, younger people, but not only them, may feel a bit distant to the formalities and heroic postures of traditional concert situations. Situations that established themselves in around 1870 and haven't really changed much ever since. Or this. Many people like sitting and relaxing while listening to music after a long day's work, but very few think that sitting on uncomfortable chairs for 2 hours without much happening visually is a treat. And then there's the aspect of feeling lost. Lost on the outskirts of a big piece of music. Not knowing where you are, not knowing how to get to your destination. And to tell you the truth, I often feel the same. Even though I'm a professionally trained musician, I find a lot of composed music rather hard to grasp. There's so many musical languages. Languages I've barely started to learn myself. We need to find a way in. We need to find orientation. Because this is also true. There's so many gems out there, gems that are waiting to be discovered. Magical musical diamonds that are so beautiful that they simply take your breath away. So how do we find them? Let's go back to your situation in that car, on the outskirts of that town, lost, in need for orientation. But hey, it's 2013, so what do? How to find the place with the hot chocolate and the red wine? Exactly, you pull out your cell phone, you turn on the GPS, and within seconds you know where you are and how to get to your destination. It lays out the path for you, filtering out insignificant information and highlighting the important data. The GPS, in a way, comes to pick us up. In earlier times, we had to pull out a paper map, have to read it properly, and follow it. The map just stayed the same. It did not know where we were. In music, we have the equivalent of the map. It's the score. The score also doesn't know where we are. It contains tons of useful information for performers and experts. But not everybody reads music. And in fact, even for those who do, there's such a flood of information that we wouldn't mind a tool that reduces complexity intelligently and structures our experience a little bit, at least while we're listening. We would like a GPS, but a much more artistic one. 3 years ago, I discovered the GPS for music. It's called Music Animation Machine. I contacted its inventor, composer, pianist, and software engineer Stephen Malinowski of the San Francisco Bay Area, and we started to work together. And I'd like to show you how the Music Animation Machine works with 3 music pieces. And you can already prepare the 3D glasses that were given to you at the entry. And at this point, I'd like to welcome on stage my dear colleagues, Brendan Walsh, Mark Pantas, and Daria van den Berken. So Daria and I will play the beginning of a sonata for keyboard and violin of Johann Sebastian Bach. First, a bit on our own. And now with Brendan operating the GPS in the whole movement. Now Daria will play the beginning of the first arabesque by Claude Debussy, and with a score as visualization. And now with the music animation machine. Oh, and by the way, if you wonder what Brendan did before and what I will be doing now with this strange tool here, we play music that breathes, that expands and contracts, that accelerates and slows down, like waves in the sea, maybe. Now, the visuals need to be in sync with that, and an automated device would be stretched to its absolute limits in anticipating our movement because it's such a human thing. So why not play with a human person? And with a synchronator tool that is in fact an old Volkswagen window crank. And we will now hear that Debussy here, and you will hear a lot of going forward and moving back. And you will see me trying to catch Daria and actually breathe with her. So remember the score from before, and here's the music animation machine. All right, let's now see what is really happening here and how the MAM, as we call it, is structuring our cognitive experience. It's data visualization, and let's see how it goes. So first, like the GPS, the mom is so nice to come and pick us up. It knows where the music is, and it leads us there. It leads us right to the center of the screen, to the present moment. The dimension of time is now integrated, and we can see the future on the right side of the screen. And we don't just see random signs in the future, and that's key, but we can easily recognize patterns, such as these three here. We may not be familiar with the musical language, but these patterns are immediately obvious. We now build a visual anticipation automatically, intuitively, without thinking much, and will compare what sounds in a few seconds with the expectation that we built up. And then we can ponder on it with echoes of all this in the past. So we have anticipation, we have memory, and we have the experience of the present moment, all at the same time. If that's not benefiting mental health, I don't know what is. So with all this, we're invited to connect and engage with the music in a more profound way, to bring heart and mind together, to actually grasp and feel the music more, to feel it more intensely, more precisely. A lot of people are writing comments on Stephen's YouTube channel. Parents, for example, report that their little children, sometimes as young as 3 years old, are completely enchanted and very concentrated when they listen, hear music with the music animation machine. Here are a few comments, just a few examples. So the music animation machine takes new, decades and centuries-old music and brings it right to the center of this visual digital age. Stephen thinks this is only the beginning. And I agree. Imagine a conductor being able to visualize his or her own interpretation of the piece. Imagine Google Glass and the MAM coming together in a concert hall. Imagine new creative designs. The possibilities are endless. We live on a gold mine of beautiful music, waiting to be discovered, enjoyed, loved. The creativity and vision of extraordinary artists and fellow human beings that often died a long time ago is within reach of a new generation. A new generation that will maybe in the future not only hear, but hear, see, feel music at the same time. Just like the GPS navigates us through unknown cities, so the music animation machine navigates us to magical places in music. Places in the past and places within ourselves. I'd like to end this with a piece of music that is particularly dear to me. Music and art can be such deep sources of orientation in life, like a therapy, like a school of life. When I was a child, I suffered from terrible migraines. And it was in these moments of agony and pain that my mom would pull out this song by Johannes Brahms. It soothed me. It made me feel light. Maybe because of the slight disalignment of the piano line and the voice line that you will now be able to see as well as hear, thanks to our musical GPS, the music animation machine. So sit back, open all your senses, and enjoy the song In stiller Nacht by Johannes Brahms.
In stiller Nacht zur ersten Wacht ein Stimmbegrund zu klagen, der nächt'ge Wind hat süß und lind zu mir den Klang getragen. Von herbem Leid und Traurigkeit ist mir das Herz zerflossen. Die Blümelein mit Tränenwein hab ich sie all Stern